Hello, everybody. Hope Savara here. It's almost 7:30. It's Wednesday, so that means it's Wellness Wednesday. Super excited. And I was thinking about what to come and chat about tonight, and I thought we'd do something a little bit different. Oftentimes I'm talking about quick moves that you can do to improve health and improve wellness, back pain, neck pain, you name it. But tonight I thought it would be fun to break down a move, pose, whatever you want to call it, that people are often familiar with. Maybe you're doing it at home, but most people are doing it incorrectly, and you're missing out on an incredible opportunity to strengthen your core. And it takes a minute, and you can have a really great mini workout. So I want to break that down tonight for you all. If you're tuning in, hello, good evening. Hope Savara here with Mother Trucker Yoga. You know the deal. If you've watched my lives before, drop it in the comment section where you're tuning in from. Let me know where you're coming from, where you're parked for the night. If you're at home, where is home? I always like to know. We've had people tune in from Canada, Australia, England, Brazil. We've had people from all over, and of course, coast to coast in the good old US of A. So I love knowing where you guys are tuning in from. It's Wellness Wednesday. It's almost 7:30. I'm Central Time, so if you're West Coast, it's a little bit earlier. If you're East Coast, it's a little bit later, but I'm happy to be here tonight. We're talking about plank. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know if you have ever done plank before, and if you know anything about fitness, or maybe you don't know a whole lot at all. Plank is a great exercise, a great movement to really strengthen not only the core, but the entire body. And so sometimes people think of the core, they just think of like the six-pack. And really our core is a lot more than that. It's our pelvic floor, so our bathroom muscles essentially. It's our back muscles, it's our obliques, and then we have this really deep core muscle called the transverse abdominal, or the transverse abdominis. And that's the muscle that we're gonna trigger tonight in plank. And when we work that muscle, properly, it's also our deepest back muscle. We strengthen our back, but we work our core about 400 times more effectively when we trigger that muscle properly. And so I'm going to show you how to do that, because I like things that are fast, quick, and easy, and effective, and I'm going to show you how to get to the most out of your plank. So if you're a push-up goer, or you've done a push-up challenge and you just feel like push-ups feel like a wet macaroni noodle, you might be missing these key components. Okay, hey Gwen, how are you? Great to see you. Going south to Iowa from Winnipeg, Canada. Well, hello, good evening. Let me know, tune in, drop in the comment section where you're coming in from. If you're watching the live, type the word live. If you're watching the replay, type the word replay. We're talking about plank tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Hope Savara. I am the co-creator of Mother Trucker Yoga, but usually the face that you always see. And tonight we're talking about plank. Maybe you work out on the truck, maybe you don't. Maybe you're home every night, and maybe you go to the gym, maybe you don't. Maybe you have practiced yoga before, maybe you practice yoga currently, maybe you don't. And it doesn't matter, because we all have a physical body, and last time I checked, if you don't take care of it, it eventually starts to break down on us, just like a truck, just like a vehicle. And so it's really up to us to take care of this body, of this vehicle that we live in. And that doesn't mean that you have to be a gym rat. It doesn't mean that you have to practice yoga every day. I don't practice yoga every day. But it does mean that we have to take care of this body that we live in. And it can be in as little as 30 seconds. It can be you reaching your arms up overhead while you're driving. It can be adding in a little twist when you're like, oh, my back hurts. Because how many of us, I'm guilty of this, you think to yourself, my back hurts, my hip hurts, my shoulder hurts, and then it stops there. You don't actually do something about that pain or discomfort. And that's really where I want to make that change for you. I want to help you make that change so that we can start acting in those simple, small, little ways that at the end of the day add up to a whole lot. So tonight we're talking about plank. So why practice plank? Why do plank? Maybe you don't even know what plank is, and so if you don't, you're in the right place. Well, plank is a great core strengthening exercise. And like I said, our core muscles are not just our six-pack muscles. And the mistake that many people make, prior to Mother Trucker Yoga, I spent almost 20 years in the fitness industry. I had a yoga school, I had a yoga studio, I taught all over the US, thousands of teachers and students, and I've seen this pose done wrong a lot. And I'm not saying that because I think I'm right, I'm saying that because I used to be one of those people. And when it comes to the core, when it comes to understanding our core, it's not just trying to strengthen this six-pack muscle here called the rectus abdominis. And where people go wrong is they think, oh, I want a strong core. And so what is the one thing that we go to? What is the one thing that all of those sheets that go around when people are like, I'm going to get my abs strong, I'm going to get skinny, I'm going to get strong, and they always have sit-ups on there. And here's the mistake. Here's the reason why you should never do another sit-up ever again for the rest of your entire life. Because sit-ups over-dominate that rectus abdominis muscle, and very rarely do you get at that deep transversus muscle, which is a back muscle, and they don't work your back. So this is you on the floor, yanking your head off of your body, and yes, you're working muscles, but the question is, am I working the right ones? And the second question is, am I working those muscles effectively? And so plank is a great core workout because one, we stabilize, okay? We need to stabilize our muscles so that you don't slip on ice, so that when you lose your balance, you're able to regain your balance quickly. Two, strength. We stabilize, so they're helping us stabilize. And three, plank is really a full body workout. So it's your core, and it's your arms, and it's your legs. And I've worked with a lot of men in my life with fitness, and one of the things I recognize a lot is with men in particular, because you're stronger up here, your arms are stronger, you tend to over-dominate in a pose like plank or push-ups, and then you don't get all of the core workout that you could or all of the core strengthening that you could. So I'm going to break this pose down for you, show you how to do it properly, and then you got to try it, and you have to tell me if you can tell the difference, because I assure you, you're going to trigger some muscles that you didn't know existed and that you didn't know you were supposed to be using when it comes to plank. Okay, so when it comes to our plank pose, and feel free, drop any questions in the comment section. I will always come back to them. I cannot see them right now, but I will come back to them and I will answer them, especially after this live. Okay, so first things first, when a lot of people come into plank pose, in whether you're in a yoga class, a fitness class, or you're doing stuff on the side of your truck, you're at home, whatever it is, the body awareness isn't always there. So we sometimes see things like this, or things like this, or things like this, where it's just kind of like this sloppy plank. So getting into good posture in plank is what's going to trigger those muscles. And that's for any exercise in just everyday life. You put your body in the right position, your body is automatically going to do what it's supposed to do. Okay, so if I start instead, I'm going to move up a little bit, in a tabletop position, and I pick my belly up, so we have two hip bones here, front of the pelvis, they're going to push up towards the ceiling. Okay? So instead of dropping our belly, I'm going to pick my pelvis up. Instead of sinking in my shoulders, I'm going to press away. And I'm going to scooch up just for a second, because when it comes to the arms, and you're in plank, I'm going to show you a little trick. I didn't know a lot about anatomy when I first started teaching yoga. And then I realized that you have to know anatomy in order to teach people fitness. And so this is called internal rotation. My arms are turning in. I want you to turn your arms out. So turn them out into what's called external rotation. This is really important because it's going to trigger more core. So the folds of your elbows should be pointing forward, not in when it comes to plank pose. Okay, so fingertips nice and wide, wrists under shoulders, folds of the elbows forward, belly and ribs lifted, and now I'm not going to move my upper body at all. I'm going to step one foot back, ball of the foot on the floor, and the other foot back, and bring your legs together and zip them up. Don't pull them apart. So my hip bones are tipped up like someone's pushing on my back. I'm not all hunched in my upper back. My upper back is broad, and I'm pushing into all of my fingertips. So as I push those front hip bones up towards the ceiling and I press away from the mat without rolling my arms in, I'm going to feel a little bit of a quiver, a little bit of a shake. Now I can come way up onto the tips of my toes. I can even uncurl one foot and I'm going to feel a lot more core strength here. But as I hold this, I can start to feel my body shake. I call it the earthquake. But what that's telling me is it's telling me that when I do plank, I'm now using those deep, deep, deep core muscles that I'm not otherwise doing when I'm just kind of hunching or dropping or sinking in my plank and thinking, well, I'm just going to kind of do this just to do this. Form does matter. When we do exercises, form does matter. Form helps us utilize our body fully and completely. Now, for some people I know, they're going to say your wrists hurt, okay? This is where you have to work with me because I'll show you what to do for your wrists and forearms to help you with carpal tunnel. It's not a death sentence. We can definitely help you with that grip strength issue from holding the steering wheel all day. These are all things that can be reversed. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've worked with people in their 80s and they've completely reversed those issues. So it's not a death sentence, I promise you. But if you're finding that putting your hands flat, having that 90-degree angle, and having body weight on that is an issue, the solution or temporary fix is to come to the forearms. And if you've done forearm plank before, never again are you going to do this position. Because when we're in plank, the body works in thirds. It's 1/3 arms and upper body, 1/3 core, and 1/3 legs. When we do this type of a position in a plank, we over-dominate with our biceps and our shoulder muscles. And for guys, you're taking all of the core out of your plank pose. So my little secret trick is you want to have your arms about fist or wrist width apart on the floor. So you're going to look like this. When you're in your forearm plank, you're going to come down onto the floor, measure off about a forearm's width, make fists and press those fists into the ground so that when you come into forearm plank, again, we're not like this, I'm pressing my fists into the ground almost like I'm trying to lift my elbows off the floor. So now my elbow is underneath my shoulder and I can feel my core again versus when I bring my fists together, I over-dominate in that upper body and we don't want to do that. Now for some of us, we might be better off on the knees, and that's the same thing even for a full plank. By all means, drop the knees. Just don't push your booty back. We want to stay in that angled plank. So you have a couple options. You can be down here, forearm plank. You can be in full forearm plank. You can be, again, look at from my head to my knee. I'm one long line. The second you move your booty back, you lose all of the core work. You've taken it out of your core. So we want to stay one long line. We're not sinking. I'm pushing away from the floor. Or again in that full plank with, again, the key, those front hip bones pushing up towards the ceiling. That's what's going to trigger our body. So hip bones pushing up towards the ceiling, it's almost like your tailbone is sinking down between your legs. Oh, you know what I have? You can tell you were an anatomy teacher in a past life when you have a pelvis in your room. And so it's always funny when I travel with this. And then TSA, they always go through my bag when I travel with this and I get the little ticket in there because it looks like I clearly have human body parts in my bag, which I don't. But so this is actually a female pelvis. But your pelvis, so if this is my pelvis, okay, these are your front hip bones here. That's this thing right here, that bony protrusion. So when you're in a plank, you're pushing those hip bones up, okay? So you're trying to push these front hip bones up towards the ceiling, which is going to trigger more core strength. So it's really important that we kind of understand that when our body is not in the right position, doing the exercise can only take us so far, okay? That's just like if I'm gonna go for a run and I want the most out of my run, and for those of you that watch me regularly on lives, you know I'm not a runner, but when you're gonna go for a run, if you're dragging your body and you don't know how to use your glutes properly, your gait's all messed up, which is how your legs move, or your walking stride is called gait. When that's all wonky because there's imbalances in your body, you're not gonna get as much out of your run. You could actually be hurting yourself. So when you're in plank, think about those front hip bones, which are kind of right by your front belt loops. You know, literally tilt your pelvis, press those up towards the sky, press into all of your knuckles, all of your fingers, push down, okay? If that bothers you, you're gonna come shoulder distance with your forearms, no more of this. Why? Because you overuse your arm muscles. Plank is triggered from your core. And then we're gonna zip our legs together. Bring them together and sandwich them in and squeeze like you have a pencil between your legs, because your inner thighs trigger pelvic floor activation. And pelvic floor activation is super important for the majority of us, especially if you're sitting a lot. Women aren't the only ones that have pelvic floor dysfunction. And so it's becoming more and more of an issue in men as well. And I know this is like an awkward conversation that you might not want to have, but I don't want to be in Depends when I'm 65, 75, 85 years old. And understanding how the body works is definitely one of those components to it. So properly using your core is definitely going to help with that, especially when you're sitting all day. We want that activation. We need those muscles to turn on because those are critical muscles. They're the bottom. They're literally the bottom of all of the organs stacked on top. So we need those muscles to trigger. We need those muscles to turn on. Plank is a great exercise to do that, but we just want to make sure that we're doing it correctly. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about plank tonight. If you've ever done plank before, maybe you've shied away from plank because it bothers your wrists, maybe it hurts your lower back, maybe you just feel like you're not strong enough to do it, and that might be because you're not doing it properly. So just to kind of give a really quick rundown again, you have that option to be on your forearms. Again, here we go. So forearm plank, I'm down on my forearms. You're just seeing my upper body here, but I'm not sinking, I'm pushing down. I'm pressing my fists down into the floor like I'm trying to lift my elbow off the ground. Okay? I can be down on my knees. I'd rather use the right muscles than have the prettiest pose. If I'm in full plank, okay, if I'm in full plank, I'm not letting my arms turn in. I'm gonna overuse those chest muscles. I'm turning my arms out without turning my hands. So you have these folds of the elbows here, the pits of the elbows, they're turning forward. You should feel a broadening in your back when you do plank properly. Again, this is to trigger all those muscles so they turn on right away so you get the most bang for your buck. You don't need to do 20 minutes of plank. Just do a minute of plank really, really well, and you're gonna get a much better workout. When you come through that plank, remember how we talked about the pelvis? We're not sinking down through the pelvis. We're not sinking in the shoulders. You are not doing your body a service. We're pushing away. We're taking those front hip bones and we're pulling them up. You see, I'm tipping my belly and my hip bones up. It's almost like my tailbone is sinking down. And then if I'm on the balls of my feet, bring the legs together. Stop having your feet so wide apart. Unless you're doing a plank sequence, bring the legs together. Why? Because they trigger those pelvic floor muscles. You know the bathroom muscles? The ones that need to be strong there for incontinent reasons. And so I know it's an uncomfortable conversation, but we all have them. We need to pay attention to them because you only get one body, and hell if I'm gonna be wearing Depends. And so I don't want that to be your lifeline either. So we have to start using these muscles. And if you're sitting all day, those muscles are not being activated, so we need to turn those on. So if you're in that full plank, again, I'm not sinking. If this is you, get to your knees, get to your forearms. Your body's not strong enough to be doing this type of a position, so we want to just adjust it. You're not modifying, you're using a different variation. So now zipping the legs together and pushing down into every one of my fingertips. If your palms are cupping up off the ground, open your hand. This is how wide your hand should be in plank. If your fingers are cupping up off the ground, you want to shift your weight more into the knuckles, literally lean forward. And that will bring some of the weight off the heel of the hand, and that will help you stretch. If you're getting wrist pain, it's because this is a 90-degree stretch, y'all. 90-degree stretch. Unless you're a waitress, how many times during the day are you stretching your wrist at this angle? And we forget that. We do these things and it's like, oh, I can't do that because it hurts too much. Well, you have to ask yourself, well, how often am I doing that? So it's a stretch. Don't be afraid of a stretch. I remember when I first started yoga, I thought my arms were going to fall off because my wrists hurt so bad from the planks and the down dogs. And then about 6 weeks in of just doing one yoga class a week, that completely went away because they're muscles. All you're doing now is using your muscles in a new way. That's it. So super simple when you break it down. Don't just be overwhelmed when you see plank and say to yourself, I can't do that because I'm too big or I'm too weak or I'm not athletic or whatever it is. Let's just break it down into small little chunks. Start on your forearms, start on your knees. Start trying to do it just for 5 breaths. Then get off your knees. Then try to get off your palms. Then bring those legs together. Then try to lift one foot. You don't need to be fancy. You just need to be functional. And so this is one thing that you can be doing to improve your health. You don't need a lot of space. You could do it on your sleeper. Be on your forearms. You can easily do it on your sleeper. And work your way up to 10 breaths, which is about a minute. And you're going to be amazed at how much your body is getting a full body workout. You might be shaking, you might be sweating, your body temperature rising. That's you, my friend. That's you using your body the way that it was designed. This is just one of the things, one of the many, many things that I totally love talking about. I love fitness broken down. I'm not really a gym rat, but I love being able to help other people understand how to use their bodies the way that they are designed. And so we live in this concrete jungle, and we're slowly forgetting that just like taking vitamin C, just like taking vitamin D, just like taking minerals every single day, eating your fruits and veggies, movement is a nutrition that we also need. Movement is a vitamin we also need to be taking on a daily basis. And for some of us, we need to learn how to re-move again. We need to learn how to move better because maybe we just haven't been moving a lot. And I assure you, start moving more in your everyday life. You're going to see weight come off. You're going to see your blood sugar levels improve. You're going to see your mental health change. Movement is the gateway drug, is the gateway vitamin to better health. And if we start moving more just in our everyday lives, you know, a lot of you that know me know this is just what I teach. This is what I talk about. That's going to open up doors for you in other areas that maybe you want to go for a walk, maybe you want to do yoga, maybe you want to go to the gym. Great, awesome. But we first have to work on us, on our everyday lives, and improve those things first. And then if we do go to the gym, if we do go to yoga, if we do those things, those are bonus, and we're not saying that because I do yoga, now somehow I'm magically healthy. You guys, I did yoga for 5-10 years, and I had an eating disorder, and I had a lot of mental health problems, and I had a drug problem. So you can't equate going to the gym or going for a run or doing yoga to equal healthy, because it doesn't work that way, and you are lying to yourself saying that that is the way it works. So we want to look at our whole picture. We want to look at whole health from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to bed. Am I maximizing my body's ability to move more? Am I moving as much as I possibly can? That doesn't mean running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Well, what that does mean is even when I'm driving, am I utilizing that time effectively? When I'm on the phone with someone on my break, or if I'm done for the day, or I'm at home, or whatever it is, can I get up and do those things? Can I walk around and do those things? We've forgotten these basic things. And I have seen people melt weight off their body. I've seen their levels improve in their self. I've seen them start sleeping better, their mental health improve. And most importantly, I've seen that in my own life. And so I just want to encourage you all to keep moving. Keep moving. fun poses like plank, simple little things in the driver's seat, and also let you know that coming up in a few weeks, I'm going to be rolling out a program I'm so excited about. I've been working on it for over a year for you all, and it's called Your Wellness Pit Stop. And so if some of you are already on the early bird list, I'm really excited about that, and you want to learn more details, I'm rolling out a free video class. Actually starting Monday, the videos are going to be coming out for you to learn more about these things. But you can get on my early bird list at yourwellnesspitstop.com. That's YOUR wellness, WELLNESS, pitstop, PITSTOP.com. And you can get on the early bird list just to learn more about what I'm doing with you all, what I'm doing with other truck drivers, what I got planned for you, to help you make those permanent changes that you can drive with for the rest of your life. Thank you, Gwen. Well, what you see is what you get. I'm not here to try to impress anybody. I just have a message, and I'm on a mission, and I want to help you all because I see a gap, and I want to help you fill that gap, and I know you can fill that gap. And I've worked with now hundreds, I get to say, thousands of truck drivers, and I've seen that gap filled, and I've seen the lights go on. And these aren't fancy techniques, but the reality is people aren't doing them. And we're skipping this bridge that we all need to cross over from where we are to this idea of exercise or fitness. And there's a lot of basics that we can instantly apply to our lives and improve our health dramatically. And I don't care if you're a truck driver, I don't care if you're a sewer pipe layer like my dad was, I don't care if you're a school teacher. The answers to our health and fitness is not to join an exercise class. It's to relearn how to live in these things we call bodies. And there are simple, easy techniques for you to do that, and I'm here to help you. So definitely check it out, yourwellnesspitstop.com. Most importantly, if you feel like this video might be helpful for somebody, if you're like, I heard that you were doing plank the other day, or I saw your little fitness challenge thing you posted, you might need a little 411 on how to do plank properly, please share out this video. That always lets Facebook know that you guys care about the stuff that I'm posting and you're watching, and it helps me reach more people. So please, please, please show us some love, share out this broadcast, and until next time, I will see you guys again really soon.